Welcome to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. In this segment, the GU team lists and discusses their biggest fears as creatives. Interesting that James fears legal retribution, while Pat fears the slow loss of her creative drive. Hey Pat.
Yes, James.
I was thinking earlier. Yeah,
Were you?
I know. Yeah, amazingly enough. During your nap time.
I wish I hadn't. Should have.
I was reading this story about a writer who got sued for plagiarism, right?
Oh no.
And I was thinking, oh man, that's been one of my biggest fears. Is
Really?
not that I've done it or do it, but that, you would get sued. And then that got me thinking, what are like some common biggest fears that creatives have? And I was wondering what is your biggest fears? If you had to list like three.
Okay. Well, wait. Why don't you go first? Plagiarism.
Okay. Well, the first one, yeah, getting sued for anything.
Okay, getting sued. Getting sued. That's a good one.
Just period. Yeah. Getting sued for anything. And I'm going to put this out there. I am as careful as they come.
Yeah.
I cite everything, dot every I and T.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that, we live in a litigious society. And if somebody thinks maybe, I've written something about them or they feel like they've been treated unfairly in some way.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thought of like having to hire a lawyer and defend your side of the story,
Yeah.
right? Even though you've done nothing wrong, you've worked at the highest of professional integrity and standards, and there you are hiring a lawyer and trying, sweating it out.
Right.
Part of that too is my brother's a doctor and they have to carry insurance just
Right.
for that, right?
Yeah. Wow.
And he has stories of people who, he's definitely seen doctors do some not good things, but he's also seen patients just, say, I'm unhappy with whatever, and off this person goes to court. So there's
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
And then the other one, and I probably shouldn't say this too loudly, but is getting audited by the IRS.
Yeah.
And I also want to make sure that by saying these things out loud, I'm not going to manifest them.
Well, I don't know if you're that powerful, but yeah, nobody wants to get audited. But whether you're creative or not creative, I think getting
Yeah.
audited would be a big pain in the ass. Yeah.
Oh, I know. And I think about like just the time that it would take, and it's, you're busy, and on top of
Hmm.
it, now you have to figure out, and again, you're kind of defending yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Done the best not to, as usual, I've done my very best not to be in that position where, there would be a reason. But
Yeah.
so you have to go in and you have to do that.
Yeah.
Then my other biggest fear, boy, I'll tell you, Pat, once I get past number two, it's a little less easy to come up with the next fear. But I don't know. I think having a physical incapacity that would mean that I couldn't do what I do,
Yeah.
or some other way that I lose the ability to do the work that I do, because I really love what I do.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I enjoy, there's definitely things to complain about because there always are, but on balance, I feel very, very lucky that most of my life, even, not just working as a creative, but I've had jobs that I've found interesting and have found a sense of worth from. So
Hmm.
to lose that would definitely not be good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. All right. Well, let me see now. Fears. Okay. I think my first biggest fear would be that I would just not want to do it. That
really,
I would change somehow and not care if I ever wrote another book. And I don't think I would like that version of myself. I'm happier when I'm creating stuff. So, I think it would be hard to take. I don't fear it exactly, but I think, if you ask me what my fears are, that would be one of them.
Hmm.
Another fear would be just producing complete crap all the time and not knowing it. That syndrome
Yeah.
where you think you're good at something and you're really shit at it. That would be
Yeah. Dunning-Krueger.
yeah. I'd be concerned about there's only one way to tell if you're any good at something, and that's if people buy it, right? Or if you win a prize or something. So and you can toil in obscurity for the rest of your life, never win a prize, and then be, like later, somebody might read your shit and go, you know what, that's pretty good. Um,
Yeah.
so
What's the
you,
movie? What's the movie that Meryl Streep is in where she plays a woman who wants to be an opera singer, but she's absolutely horrible?
oh, I forget the title, but it's based on a real person. Yeah, so something like
Yeah.
that. So being complete shit at it, or maybe being technically good, but producing completely irrelevant, boring shit, So, uh,
Uh-huh.
okay, so that's in the same category. And then the third is something like your third, which is wanting to be able to create
Hmm.
and having zero ability to do that. And so I imagine that would take something like becoming just and I don't want to be disrespectful to people who are just a torso, um, but losing all your limbs plus your head, because I think you can be creative in any physical situation as long as
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
outside of survival mode, um, you know, which is a whole different category of agony to be in. If all you're doing is surviving, then it's very difficult to be creative.
Mhm.
So I think wanting to be creative and not being able to would be my third biggest fear.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Mine, I seem to focus around a sense of powerlessness
Yeah,
and loss of agency.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and yours, the first two are more of a like creative obtuseness, or
Yeah, yeah. Mine are existential, I guess, because the first one, not caring, right? Just stopping, just not caring if I'm creative or not. That to me would be a kind of a death
yeah,
of who I am right now. And I think that would be a terrible thing.
yeah.
You're only in this one life. And I can imagine, my life has changed a lot. I think differently about lots of different things because lots changes, but that's a kind of change I would look at as a shrinkage rather than a
Yeah.
growth.
Well, and it reminds me, so there's this concept of quiet quitting.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
people sort of slowly leave a job, they stop, really caring and,
yeah.
that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, what is the quiet quitting version of, either a creative work or creative adjacent work? And I
Hmm.
think that you lose your passion, you lose your desire, you lose that competitive instinct,
Yeah.
uh,
And
and the joy of
sometimes,
it
yeah, and it might just be burnout. Like I've gone through
too.
periods where I am feeling very uncreative because I'm so burnt out. But I
Hmm.
think to lose it permanently, I know that if I get rest and, just to have some time off, I can get super interested in life again and being creative. And so I'd hate to lose that for the rest of my life. That would be a
Yeah,
big problem for me.
yeah. All right, all
All
right.
right. Well, good
Very
one.
well. Yeah, let's make sure we're not manifesting these things. I'm knocking on wood or whatever.
I think, you know what, the fact that
Whatever ritual.
we've named them, that means they're not going to happen. That's my opinion.
Yeah, maybe I should go out back and write my fears on a piece of paper and burn it. And
Right. Oh, back in the clubhouse. Okay.
yeah, all right.
All right.
Enjoy. Thanks for listening to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. We'd love to hear how we're doing, so please leave a comment, join our chat page, or send us an email at giftedunderachievers@substack.com. You can find us at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you like to download your podcasts. And as always, please have a glorious day.